Hi everyone, it's Melanie from Wando Mount Pleasant Library, and I'm here today to take a closer look at some tools that are available on the CCPL website that can help you study for the ACTs, the SATs, and the PSATs. We've got a lot of databases that are found under the Research tab on our CCPL website, and the one that we're going to be looking at today is called Learning Express Library. So what we're looking at the moment is the actual ccpl.org website. And all you need to do to access the Learning Express Library is go to where it says Research and click on Research. And that will take you to a whole list of databases that we have available online. And these are all accessible using your library card, your free library card, or you can use your L² account that is a collaboration between Charleston County School District and Charleston County Public Libraries. So you can use either of those, your library card or your L². And you just need to scroll down, and on the left-hand side you'll find it says Learning Express Library, and that's the one that we're going to be looking at today. So click on that. And we want to access the database from either inside the library, which is where I am today, or from home. You can do that with your library card. So all you need to do is put in your library card number and your PIN, click login. I don't want to save it. And it takes us to the Learning Express Library screen, which comes to us from EBSCO. And you can see there are a lot of different information tabs here. Some of them could be useful for you in the future. We're not going to look at those in detail today, but just be aware that they're there. So there's some information and advice about career preparation. We have computer skills, things for college students preparing you for future success. But what we're going to look at today is this tab here. It's called College Admissions Test Preparation. So click on that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is register your name and details if it's the first time that you've been using it. It's important that you register because you can actually save your progress and come back to it at a later date. So as long as you've got an account, you're able to do that, because some of these tests can take a while, so you may not always have a lot of time to complete them. So it's good to register. You just click on this screen here. I already have a mock account that we'll be using today just for example purposes, but you just go here if you're new to it, click on register. It's just like registering for anything else really. It's pretty simple. Put in your details, pick a password, register, and away you go. But today, like I said, I've got an account, so normally you just come here and put in your details. Click login. Okay, so click on college admissions and you'll see the different tests or different topics that it allows you to play around in. So we have ACT, SAT, PSAT, and the Merit Scholarship Test. We also have AP exams, and there's a whole list of different AP exam practice tests in there, which are really useful too if you're doing AP studies. Then there's English as a second language and college admissions essay writing. But today we're just going to look at these top three. So let's pick one. Let's go for ACT. And it takes you to the next screen, and it's broken things up into three different categories. We have tutorials, practice tests, and then we have ebooks over here. And it does the same for the SATs. So SAT tutorials, practice tests, ebooks, and then again for the PSATs, it just has the practice tests. So no tutorials or ebooks for the PSATs. So the tutorials can be really useful, especially if it's your first time taking a test like the ACT or the SAT. This introduction, for example, gives you a whole lot of information about the breakdown down to the minute of the different 4 sections on the ACT. Talks about the essay component. It talks about, do you even need to take the ACT? Is it important for you to take the ACT to get into college? How do you choose between taking the ACT or the SAT? All sorts of information. So that's really useful. And then it gives you tutorials for each section on the ACT as well. So if you click on this one, for example, the English test, click on Start Tutorial, and it loads, and then lesson 1. So then you can actually go through and it gives you information. So you've got 45 minutes, you have to answer 75 multiple choice questions, and it talks about what to expect on the English component of the ACT, the different content areas and the scoring percentages. Anyway, it asks you all these questions, and then it actually tests you to see if you've been paying attention. So you can click in here and it says the ACT English test is how many minutes long? I think I read that it's 45 minutes. So you can type in 45 minutes, check your answer, and it says, oh yeah, you're right, the test lasts 45 minutes, so on and so forth, which is not tested on the ACT. Is it your spelling? Is it your use of words? I'll pick one. And it says, oh, great, this is the correct answer. Anyway, so you can see how that works, and all the tutorials are like that, and you can work your way through them, and it's a good way to familiarise yourself with the ACT and the SAT. You can also save and finish these tutorials for later if you don't have time to get through them all in one sitting. Click on Save, and it says you're about to leave this page. Do you want to save it or do you want to close it without? So we're going to save it. And what this does is it saves it under your account. So if you go up here to your account username and click on My Center, it saves all of your work in these little tabs. And mine has a few in there because I've been playing around and trying out a few different things, so I've saved a few things. But you can see here it says the tutorials that we just looked at. So the English test preparation tutorial, and it's in progress. So if I wanted to go back to that, I just have to go to this page here and click on it, and it'll take me back to the screen that I was working on before. There I am, back at that same question about how long the English test is. So anyway, there's tons of these tutorials, and they're actually really thorough and really useful. And like I said, you can work through all of them for the ACT, you can work through all of them for the SAT, and just familiarise yourself as much as possible. So tutorials, they're a really useful tool. Another useful tool that I'll just quickly show you, and this only applies to the ACT and the SAT, they have a couple of ebooks that you can download, and once you download them you can print them or just read through them online. And they're full of practice tests and flashcards and all sorts of things. And so you just click download ebook and it opens up as a PDF. So you can see SAT Math Success 20 minutes a day, and it's just like a manual that you're able to print if you want, or like I said, read it online. Actually, when you do download them, it also saves it to your center. So if you go back up to your username, My Center, you can see the books that you've downloaded there, the ebooks. Just another way to go back and access them again. So probably the section of the Learning Express library that you'll get the most use out of is the practice test section, and these are available for the ACT, the SAT and the PSAT. You can do them individually as like separate tests for each section, so you can do a reading test or you can do a math test, depending on the different section that you want to practice within the ACT or the SAT, or you can do a complete simulated practice test as well. And there are also different modes that you can choose. So if we click on the SAT reading practice test, for example, and we'll just pick one. There are a number to choose from, but we'll just pick this one. A couple of things to note. It'll tell you how many questions and the test time. So you've got 52 questions and you have 65 minutes to complete the test. It defaults to practice mode, which allows you to have your answers explained for you at the end when you finish. So the time will display just so you know how much time you're using to do the test, but it won't force you to stop when your time is up. Whereas the simulation mode is like real test timing, and it'll stop when your time is up. You can also do learner mode, And this is a good one if you're just starting out perhaps and you haven't done too many of these practice tests, you can see the answers as you go. So that's a good one, but it defaults to practice. And all you do is click on Start Test, and you'll see the time counting down here in the center. You can again click on Finish Later and save your progress and finish it later. These are the buttons up here that will allow you to toggle back and forth between the different pages of the test. So once you finish all the questions on this page, you'll go up here and click Next to go to the next page of questions. There's also this Jump to a Question tab, and that's a good one if you are perhaps stuck on a question, you're not sure, and you want to flag it for later. You can just make a note of it, or what the number of the question was. Click on Jump to a Question when you're finished and go back to it. Say it was like number 15. And it'll jump to that page where number 15 is, probably down the bottom. So yeah, all you do is read through the text as you would on a normal SAT, and then follow the questions as they correspond to the text. And you just click on the answers as you go. And then at the very end, you can score it. So as far as scoring your test, and I just wanted to show you how that works, this is an example of an ACT math practice, and I've just gone through right to the very end of the test and clicked on random answers, so I'm not expecting the scores to be great because I didn't put any thought into the answers. I just wanted to get to the end so I could show you what it looks like when you score it. Also, I just wanted to show too, on the math practice test, they give you a little calculator button that you can use as a calculator, basically, to calculate your answers if you don't have one handy. And that's on every question in the math practice test, so I thought that was a cute little addition. So anyway, I've got to the end of the math practice test. There were 60 questions, and so I have finished, and I click on Score My Test, and it says if you haven't answered any, it'll tell you to go jump to those questions, but I answered them all. So there's none to review. Click on Score, and it takes just a second or two, and yeesh, I need to practice my math. So it gives me my score. I can view the answers and see where I went wrong, which ones I got wrong. It also gives me a breakdown of my score in quite a lot of detail, and the different areas that I need to perhaps practice. And then it gives me some recommendations. So based on this score, I recommend you do a couple more practice tests and maybe even look at the tutorial too. So it's a good way to review and again go back and practice and practice. And the last thing that I wanted to show you was you can download your scores as a .csv file. So you just go back to your center and click on Download My Center, and it actually downloads everything as an Excel file that you can print, and it shows you, I've got two of them open, and it shows you all of your progress and all of your different scores there. So if that's something that you're interested in and you wanted to have a record of what you've done on the Learning Express library, then that's a nice little added feature. So that's basically it. I hope you've enjoyed the demonstration. I hope that you find the tools helpful and that you get a lot of practice out of the Learning Express library. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Otherwise, I wish you all the best on your tests. Good luck.